Greetings, YouTube. This is the Garage Autonomist, and this is a surprise hangout. This is actually the hangout that I said I would do in my video earlier, my announcement video. And at first I thought maybe I could do this around 5 o'clock, but I didn't get home until 5. Or rather, we didn't get home until around 5 o'clock. So it wasn't, there was no way I was going to be able to do it around that time. And, you know, everything else had to go the way it went. But I'm finally able to get online, and I'm going to do this surprise hangout. And what this is going to be a preview, not an actual review. Not an actual review of the movie Sorry to Bother You. And I'm going to get into that in about a second. But first, I want to play a little bit of a trivia game. If you're listening to this, if you listen to the announcement video that I was, if you were trying to figure out the music that was being played, that music was actually sampled, tiny little piece, in a 90s hip-hop record by a 90s hip-hop artist. Name that artist. You don't have to name, if you can't remember the song, that's fine, but name the album and name the artist if you know where the Hawaiian music, particularly the hook towards the end, if you can name that song or that hip-hop artist, the album or the song, doesn't matter. And I'll tell you who it is, what song it was, what had that in his piece at the end of this live stream. Okay, so let me set up the chat screen real quick so I can see anyone's in the chat. Okay. All right, there we go. Oh, these damn windows situated. Sorry. Okay. All right, so let me just start from the beginning now. Greetings, YouTube. This is the Garage Autonomist. As I mentioned in the announcement video earlier, I'm back. I took a break, and I do apologize for not posting in a while. At first, it started in the summer. Then it evolved into me just taking a break. My wife and I wanted to take advantage of the fact that both kids are out of the house for a while. Actually, our youngest daughter will be back home week after next, and then that will be the same week that our oldest daughter finally leaves for school. So, you know, we'll be taking her out of the state and getting her settled at school in her dorm. And that is why this Tuesday, she's going to be doing a live hangout with me as a sort of a going away hangout. We're going to be talking about the HBO show. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Got a text. We're going to be talking about the HBO show. I was almost going to say Walking Dead, Westworld. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Let me just get to this. So what I wanted to do was to tell you guys I didn't want to do a proper review yet, only because the film, Sorry to Bother You, is still in the theaters. Now, one of the things that I took advantage of on the break was watching this movie. Where we were, luckily, there was an art house film theater where we took our little rest at. And when I went to see the film, it was my third time seeing it because I already saw it when I was in the city 2 times in a row. And those first 2 times is because I really did enjoy the movie immensely. And also because I wanted to support it. Usually with films like this, they don't really stay in the theaters that long. So you have to catch them as much as possible. Now, I had mentioned the film back in July, and I intended on catching the film it's by Boots Riley. Boots Riley is the lead singer, and I had mentioned this back in July as well. He's the lead singer of a group called The Coup, 90s hip hop artist. No, not the 90s hip hop artist who the Hawaiian music was from. But anyway, he's the one who he wrote and directed this film. And I used to listen to The Coup when it came out. So, I had been following them throughout the years afterwards. They've been doing tours and everything. But Boots stayed true to being a conscious artist, and he really put his mind, politics, and humor into his debut film. Now, I had been on the fence for about a month on when to do a review from this channel, but I really wanted to go. I really want people to go and see this film without any impressions in their head. But then I realized that if I didn't talk about the movie in some way, people wouldn't go and watch it. And I really can't do. I'm the type of person who cannot do reviews without spoilers. So I decided now to do a preview to get people at least motivated to see this film, because this movie did get some additional dates, at least here in New York City. So if depending on your local movie theaters that show indie films or art house films, they might have extended those dates as well. And hell, I'll even find the movie theaters in your city or town so you can go check it out. I'll post them in the comment section if I have to. I just really want people to go and see this movie. So Sorry to Bother You is a political satire that I would consider what's called absurdist fiction. And it was basically put to film. Now, Boots's movie, I would put right up there with Terry Gilliam's work, particularly Brazil, the movie Brazil, or I would put up there with Dr. Strangelove. Matter of fact, I believe that Boots's work, in terms of him being a director and a screenwriter, I honestly believe that he could carry Ishmael Reed's Terrible 3 series. If you don't know who Ishmael Reed is, he's Arthur. And he has a series, he writes sort of, Black surrealism novels. Some of them like Louisiana Red, Last Days of Louisiana Red, but he had a trilogy of books called The Terribles, and Terrible 2s, Terrible 3s. Was it a trilogy? I think it was, or I'm thinking because one particular character was in an older book. But anyway, Terrible 2s and Terrible 3s definitely are a series, are a two book series. But I would check it out if I were you. So check him out, and I think that definitely Boots Riley literally could make those movies. Because what Boots does is that he does a great job blending social critique, irony, and dark humor and fantasy, and that's basically the way Ishmael Reed and Terry Gilliam do it. So Sorry to Bother You is about a dude young brother, Cash Green. He's played by Lakeith Stanfield from Atlanta, who my wife and I had predicted would wind up breaking out because his timing, his comedic timing, basically the deadpan humor, and the way he approaches his characters would be too unique for him to just be doing Atlanta, you know? So Cash has a problem, like most young people out there who have either graduated high school some 4 years afterwards with shitty prospects for work, or college graduates who are in the same shitty position. In other words, not a lot of great prospects out there. But Cassius does get a job as a telemarketer, which he hopes will be a step up for him and his girlfriend, Detroit, who's played by Tessa Thompson. Now, as you all know, I'm going to be doing this hangout with my daughter, Tigress, and we will be talking about the TV show Westworld. Now, Tessa Thompson is in that TV show, which she plays. She does a brilliant job playing Charlotte Hale. And she's also going to be in the upcoming sequel of Creed, which I thought was a good movie. I'm a sucker for boxing films. And I liked, Stallone's work, at least the first 3 Rocky films. And I liked the first Creed. I thought it was great. So, she's going to be in that one. And, you might also remember her from the last Thor movie. Ash gets a job, and like all the sales positions, you have to learn how to talk and bullshit. In the case of Cash, he learns that he has to code switch, to be his gimmick, to be successful at his job. Now, like I said, I'm going to do a review later where I go into detail about what code switching is. But as a quick explanation, code switching is what Black people or other people of color do in order to make it in the corporate or quasi-corporate workplace. This means altering your speech patterns. When you speak to people on the phone, be they clients or prospective employers, you or possibly altering your name on your resume because if your names sound too Black, 9 times out of 10 your resume will go straight to the trash bin. Anyway, like I said, Cash uses code switching, and in addition, uses some other latent hustler skills he probably never knew he had, and he gets good results that open up a can of worms that affects his life, his relationships, and gives him exposure to what the business that he works for does in the world that we live in today. Now, I mentioned that the movie hinges on political and social satire. So you will definitely see similarities to the world that we live in with these new agey CEOs who are written up as if they're the modern day gods. Meanwhile, they depend heavily on, on sweatshop labor in one way or the other, and basically we could see instances right now where the American workforce that stands to resemble the global slave wager that we see in other parts of the world, that both of these workforces are basically shaped by neoliberalism. So again, I want to wait and make a full review once the film leaves the theaters, so I could seriously go back and talk about all of these things and how what you'll see in the film fits in with where we are today with our workforce and what's happening to workers. Just a little bit more about it wasn't like they didn't have, it was not all unknown actors in this film, and matter of fact, no one's really unknown in this film. You've got David Cross, comedian David Cross, who plays Cash's white voice whenever Cash does his sales pitches on the phone. You've got Tessa Thompson, who I mentioned earlier. She plays Detroit, which is Cash's girlfriend. You've got Lily James, who plays Detroit's white voice when she's on the phone. because she does get a job at the same place with Cash. That's not a spoiler. It's not it's not a big deal. You've got Omari Hardwick from the TV show Power. Now he plays Mr. Beep. I'm only calling him Mr. Beep because when I do my review, I'm going to use a special sound effect. Matter of fact, I'm going to use the same sound effect that they use for his character in the movie. You've got Patton Oswalt, who plays Mr. Beep's white voice when he speaks on the phone or to their CEO boss. And the CEO boss is played by Armie Hammer. I haven't really seen a lot of things with Armie Hammer in it. Matter of fact, I didn't even really know who the fuck Armie Hammer was, but a lot of other people do. Sorry, I didn't even look him up just before I started. But he plays Steve Lift, the CEO of the telemarketing company that is contracted to Steve Lift. Sorry. And then you've got Steve Yeun. Now, we all know who he is. Steven Yeun plays another character in the movie film named Squeeze, a friend or an ally to, somewhat of an ally to Cash's character. And Steve Yeun, as we all know, is from Walking Dead. And then there's Danny Glover. Now, I'm not shocked at all that they were able to get Danny Glover to be in this movie. As we all know, Danny Glover is very much an activist. He's, a progressive actor. And so I'm pretty sure he took one look at this damn script and was like, I'm in, I'll take the pay cut or whatever y'all can afford to do. I'll do this movie. So I was glad to see that brother in the film. So like I said, I'm going to do a full review. I'm kind of done talking about it right now. Just go see the movie. All right. So let me go look in the chat room and see. Pure Butterfly Spirit is in the chat. What's up, Pure? Hey, Pure. Yeah, it was a good vacation. I had some fun. My wife and I had a lot of fun, actually, and just chilling out and stuff like that. It was not a full like getaway kind of thing. It was more like it was half and half of a staycation, and then us chilling outside of the city for a bit. So that was about it. And so far, I don't see anyone guessing as to the Hawaiian music, what hip hop artist had sampled that song, but I'll get to that later on. So that's pretty much all I wanted to do, was to talk about that film. Couple of other things that I wanted to go over with you guys. You're probably wondering, the video series that I used to do called Autonomist Lounge. One of the reasons why I don't do them anymore is because roughly since May, I've stopped drinking. So it didn't really make a lot of sense to do this sort of bar theme or lounge theme anymore. When I started to find a little bit of time to do them. So like the last video that I did about art would have been something, definitely would have been like the typical Autonomous Lounge type of video where I just talk about different topics, whether they're political or artistic or what have you. And, so that's basically what happened there. I just decided that it was just weird and a little hypocritical. I wouldn't want to say hypocritical. It just didn't fit right with me, that if I wasn't drinking anymore, I wasn't really going to continue on with this sort of bar theme type of video series. Now, some of you are probably wondering or asking, why did I stop? It really wasn't that big of a deal. It really was just based on the fact that it really wasn't all that fun for me anymore. It was getting a bit much in terms of how much I was drinking. So, yeah, I kind of decided to go cold turkey, and that's where I am right now. So that's basically been towards the end of May. At first, I was just going to stop drinking bourbon, and then I just said, well, what's the point in, continuing on with beer or wine? Like, fuck it, just quit altogether and see how this works. And that's what I did. So, so since May up until now, it's been about 3 months. Well, we'll see. But, like I said, it wasn't like a major thing, like, I went into some kind of a tailspin or nothing like that. I mean, prior to 2005, I was sober for 11 years, actually. I was sober for 11 years. So it was, it was just time. It was just time for me to kind of, to give it up. And like I said, it wasn't really fun for me anymore. So what was the point? And I get bored easy when something's not fun for me anymore. Now, some upcoming videos that I'm going to be talking about is nationalism. I want to talk about nationalism both as we know it or as we live it. Where I question what is being an American. Well, I already know what the answer to that is. There is none. It means absolutely nothing to me. I will be touching on your basic mainstream form of nationalism, and then we'll be touching on, of course, the nationalism that fuels white supremacy. And then we will be talking about the difference of nationalism that is espoused or embraced by people of color, particularly oppressed people. And there is a bit of a difference, but still, I'll be talking about those three examples of nationalism and why I reject all three. So that's one video that I'll be doing. I'm doing as much research as I can on some of these Unite the Right, the latest Unite the Right rally that's happening right now. So I'll be doing a video about that soon. That'll be coming up. And all of this, of course, won't be touched on until about, I'm going to have to say week after next. So, the last video that I'll be doing, or hangout rather, will be upcoming on Tuesday with Tigress, and we'll talk about Westworld, our deconstruction of the TV show. And then after that, I'm going to be dealing with house stuff, getting Tigress ready for school. And then, we're going to be taking a trip to take her there after the week after that. So between work and that and trying to square things away, I'm just not going to have a lot of time to do videos. So when week after next is cleared, then I'll be able to tackle some of these other subjects that I talked about. So that's I wanted to go ahead and get off my gun shy a little bit, because I knew that I hadn't done anything in a while for this channel, and I wanted to get over a little bit of that anxiety of feeling like I wasn't gonna be able to do this again, or do this again for a while, and you just got to get back on that horse. Pure Butterfly Spirit says, I don't do hard liquor anymore. Let's see what anymore once, maybe ever. Okay, so every 6 months I'll have a glass of wine or a beer. Yeah, Pure, I know. I wanted to, like I said, once I decided that I was going to stop doing the hard liquor, I just said, why not just stop it all together? So that's what I did. So far, I'm not missing it. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. So this is pretty much it, y'all. Just go see the movie Sorry to Bother You. This is just a quick preview. I hope I did it enough justice to get you guys to want to go see it. I really do hope you go see it. You will get the review from me possibly first week of September. It'll be a video then, because I'm pretty sure by then the film will be out of the theaters. And that way you'll want to check it out if it hits or at least Netflix or whatever. And if it does, give it as many reviews as possible. That is, of course, if you like it. If anyone else is probably thinking that I'm over exaggerating by comparing it to Terry Gilliam's work, I'm not saying this out of sentiment or anything like that, because I like Boots Riley and and I'm a Coup fan from back in the day. No, it really is that good of a movie. You should just check it out. Some people are describing it as an Afrofuturist piece. I would agree. There's not really a lot of films really that touches on Afrofuturism or as a theme. Hell, man, that sounds like a good idea for a video too, to talk about that. Anyway, so that's pretty much all I have to see. Let me see what Pure Butterfly Spirit is saying. Hard liquor messes me up. I get drunk real easy. Yeah, well, did you see the wildfires in Cali Garage? They are crazy and out of control. I only heard a little bit about it about 4 hours ago, but I didn't get a chance to look into it. Pure, I will. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in for now. Like I said, I'll be, we already have what I have coming up this Tuesday at 10:30 will be our take on the TV show Westworld. Myself and Tigress, that'll be her going away hangout. And then after that, you won't be hearing from me for about a week. And then she'll be settled in school, and then I'll be making videos again. So that's what's going to happen. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to thank the two morons who gave me a thumbs down. I already know who you are. And that's okay. You can't do what I do. All right, so that's about it. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Peace. Please go see Sorry to Bother You. All right. This is the Garage Autonomist.